योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
Hi, welcome to the 27th session of this course, HRM for Non-HR Managers. We have discussed Human Resource Information System, HR Matrix and HR Analytics in the previous session. The discussion within this session will complete the jigsaw puzzle and give you the full picture which neatly ties the performance of an individual to the performance of the whole organization. In this session, we will discuss the concept of organizational effectiveness and organization level performance. Present the concept of balanced scorecard as a framework which helps organizations achieve and improve its effectiveness. Introduce the employee level key performance indicators as measures of employee performance. Discuss how HR scorecard can integrate business level performance expectations with employee level performance indicators. Since the start of this course, we have repeatedly highlighted how the external and internal environment for business is changing with globalization and technological advancement. In the past, personnel management was a routine, administrative function. As the changes unfold, the firms need to keep up their pace and remain in business through management of change and innovation. This imperative is increasing the importance of the firm's workforce as far as more valuable, as they are the source of learning and knowledge. Management of HR or people management is increasingly required to play the role of change agent that influences people's attitudes, competencies and behavior. Also, HR's role as a business partner becomes central to the organization's effectiveness because it is the people who carry out its strategy. But whether HR can actually be a strategic partner and give credible and valuable inputs to strategy making depends on what it provides to the top management. Under the changing circumstances, the way HR operates its systems, measures, the deliverables have been changing. Balanced scorecard is among the most widely adopted framework for doing so. Becker, Huslid and Ulrich in the year 2001, who have outlined HR scorecard, added that it does two important things. Manage HR as a strategic assets, demonstrate HR's contribution to firm's financial success. Organizational effectiveness. In general, effective organizations are those which achieve their stated goals. From HR perspective, organizations cannot achieve their goals, their employees do. Organizations and their members, as mentioned earlier, share an exchange relationship. Each side makes demands on the other while providing something in return. While the employees make contribution to the organizations, the organization provide inducements to do so. Organizations provide inducements for the members to join, to remain and to make two kinds of contributions. Number 1, dependable role behavior as prescribed by the organization and spontaneous behavior which go beyond role prescriptions. So, from the HR perspective, according to Engel and Perry, an effective organization is that where the organization is highly adaptive to its environment, operating expense is minimized, absenteeism is low, tardiness is low, voluntary turnover and turnover intention both are low. As you can see, adapting well to continually changing environment as well as keeping up high level of efficiency are difficult. Controlling employee absenteeism and tardiness and also keeping turnover low at the same time are difficult. But that's the nature of business, where managers are required to balance important concerns which may sometimes seem to be opposite. Next, balanced scorecard. One way to achieve such divergent concerns and goals is balanced scorecard, introduced by Kaplan and Norton in the year 1996. Balanced scorecard is different from other business performance measurement frameworks in the sense that it links measurement of performance with the company's strategy. According to the Balanced Scorecard Institute, the Balanced Scorecard is a strategic planning and management system that organizations use to communicate what they are trying to accomplish, align the day-to-day work that everyone is doing with strategy, prioritize projects, products and services, measure and monitor progress towards strategic targets. Balanced scorecard connects the company's strategy elements such as mission, vision, core values and strategic focus areas with the operational elements such as objectives, measures or key performance indicators or KPIs which track strategic performance, targets, desired level of performance and initiatives, projects that help reach targets. These are divided into 4 pillars. Number 1, financial objectives. Number 2, customer objectives. Number 3, process objectives. And number 4, capacity development objectives. Each in turn is linked with measures that reflect the extent to which these objectives are achieved. The strategic map, which shows the interrelationship of these 4 pillars, can be seen on your screen. Next, HR scorecard. Frameworks such as balanced scorecard might be compared with total quality management. They work only when they have been integrated across the organization. Hence, if the organization has adopted balanced scorecard as an approach to improve organizational effectiveness through measurement of performance and relating them to the organizational goals and strategy, then it is not difficult for HR managers to have scorecard for their department as well. The 4 pillars or perspectives remain the same. HR may not have the external customers, but they may have internal customers, people who use their services and stakeholders. We will be explaining the HR scorecard with the help of a value creation map for a hypothetical HR function. You can see the map on your screens. Value creation map for a hypothetical HR department. On the left, 4 perspectives are lined up below the strategic goals of customer or stakeholder services and be a preferred employer. Customer service is linked directly to the organizational goal of improved competitive position, while attracting the best talent would be enabling that goal. Strategic goals provide the purpose and direction for all activities. Capability, which was earlier called learning and growth, and the internal processes are the way an organization decides how the effort will be made towards a goal or a set of goals. Customer and financial perspectives reflect the consequences of the effort. In tune with the strategic goals, the financial goals are increased employee productivity and increased return on investment in strategic HR initiatives. For the internal customers, the goals are creation of high performance climate and employee satisfaction. Internal process goals are employee retention and knowledge management. Finally, The capability goals are competency development and human resource information system. This is where the issue of appropriate indicators of progress or otherwise comes up. Is the HR effort moving in the right direction? Are the results as expected? Is the effort adequate? These questions present the need for indicators which can help track performance and take corrective actions in time. You would realize that the goals would indicate a key performance area for which there may be one or more indicators. Next, performance indicators. Balanced scorecard distinguishes between leading and lagging indicators. A leading indicator is a metric that mainly refers to future developments and drivers or causes. Lagging indicators is a metric that mainly refers to past developments and effects or result. Example, reflects history and outcomes of certain actions and processes. Number of new hires is a lag indicator for the recruiter because for them the recruitment and selection process culminates in their job offer being accepted by the candidate. When the candidate who accepts the offer actually joins, that part of the cycle is complete. For the same section, the number of applications and interviews are leading indicators because selection has not been made yet. But the candidates who accept the job offer and join represent a lead indicator for the human resource development section because their work has not started yet. So, you would realize that the same indicator may be lead or lag indicator for different organizations and different sections within the same organization. Hersman in the year 2010 defined next 5 criteria for effective KPIs known as SMART. S stands for specific, M for measurable, A for attainable, R for relevant and T for time bound. The characteristics are self-explanatory. So, we will just move on with a quote from a Harvard Business Review article by Kaplan and Norton published in the year 1992. What you measure is what you get. Continuing from our value creation map, we list some possible KPIs as you can see in the table on your screens. Key performance indicators for selected key performance areas for a hypothetical case. Purpose: improve customer or stakeholder service, be a preferred employer. Perspective you can see on first column. In second column it is KPA and in third column it is KPI. Financial: improve employee productivity, total revenue divided by number of employees, gross profit divided by number of employees. Next, increased return on investment in strategic HR initiatives. KPI is total benefits from strategic HR initiatives minus total cost of strategic HR initiative, divide total cost of strategic HR initiatives into 100. Next, customer stakeholders. High performance climate. KPI ranking in the chosen employer survey, example Forbes. Next, findings of employee engagement survey, engagement rate, number of people who report being engaged divided by total head count. Next, employee satisfaction. Findings from the employee survey, satisfaction rate, number of people who report being satisfied in their job divide total head count. Internal process, employee retention, head count at the start of period plus external hires minus termination divide head count at start of period plus external hires into 100. Knowledge management. Actual average competency score divided by expected average competency score into 100. Average competency score. Next, continuous improvement. Number of process improvements adopted from employee suggestions. Innovation. Number of patents filed. Capability. Competency development. High potential employee percentage. End of period head count of employees rated as high potential divide end of period total head count into 100. High performer growth rate. Participants rated high in performance appraisal divide participants rated non-high in previous performance appraisal into 100. Turnaround rate. Employees receiving rating higher than low in performance appraisal divide employees receiving low performance rating in previous appraisal into 100. Talent management progress. Percentage achievement in talent development plan. Talent development. Number of qualified talent per strategic position. HRIS. Number of erroneous records divided by number of records into 100. HRIS accuracy. HRIS development. Actual days of HRIS implementation divide planned days of HRIS implementation. HRIS training coverage. Number of employees trained on HRIS divide total head count. Employee HRIS learning. Number of employees passing test after HRIS training divide number of employees receiving training in HRIS. If you can follow the logic, it is not difficult to understand these key performance areas, key performance indicators and their formulas and how KPAs and KPIs are related. As we said before, everything is derived from and goes back to the purpose. What is the strategic orientation? What strategic goals are to be achieved? In this case, the goal is to be top destination for talent by ranking high on employers ranking, which is published by organizations such as Forbes. This talent, it is implied, will act as powerhouse to deliver high quality customer service. For HR department, the contribution to customer service seems to follow two paths. Improving productivity so that benefits of cost saving can be passed to the customer and by gaining high returns on investment in strategic HR initiatives so that the organization may be more adaptive or agile or whatever be the specific strategic purpose. High performance climate is seen as essential so that on the strategic side, employee rating improves through increased return on investment on HR initiatives. Employee satisfaction is another key area related to several of previous areas. For high performance climate and employee satisfaction, employee retention is important, while knowledge management would support high performance climate. Finally, for retaining talent, competency development is essential, while human resource information system is an area where capability is to develop through systematic evidence, data driven decision making and informed choices. Now, when you revisit the formulas for each of the KPIs, they may make better sense. You should note that the KPIs are many. It is not necessary that two organizations interested in improving their performance in a given KPA use the same KPI. But we believe that for the purpose of an introductory course like this, you have sufficient inputs. If you are interested in knowing more, You can access the web links and references. If you have comments and questions or experiences to share, please participate in our online forum. You can also read more in the online content area of this course. With this, we come to the end of this session in the course HRM for non-HR managers. We discussed the concept of organizational effectiveness, Balanced Scorecard as a comprehensive framework for measuring and improving organizational effectiveness, and HR Scorecard as a specialized derivative of organization-wide scorecard. We also presented several key performance indicators using a hypothetical case. We will see you soon for the last week of this course. But until then, thank you for joining us and goodbye.